We are live. What's good, people? What's good? Y'all know who it is. It is your favorite two-time ATL's hottest DJ, the God DJ Agony, also known as Dr. Dope. Well, my motto here is simple: own the building. Yo, hadn't seen y'all in a while, man. You know what I'm saying? I felt like tonight was a good night to check in with y'all on this, second to last day of the year. Just to check in, see how was your holiday. You know what I'm saying? Like my people who coming in, welcome in. Anybody who's new, welcome to the Dope Show. I'm your host, DJ Agony. But all my people who are returning, man, what's good, y'all? It has been a year. I mean, every year, one thing we have to be thankful of is every year we get to see from beginning to completion is always a blessing because there are some people who came into this year who didn't get to see this part of it. And we have to remember those people as well and keep them close to our heart. But for our people who are still here, be thankful that y'all made it through another year because it's was as they say, it's people out here dying that ain't never died before, y'all. And that's real. Um, so, how was your holidays? Me, like I said, one of the things y'all learn about me is that I take the best part of the holidays. Now, it's parts of it that I do not focus on the bear witness on. Their parts are that I do, and it particularly comes to if nothing else, people. Think about it like this, and this is for all my woke people, my conscious people, my people who are so pro black and them black people and all that. Think about it like this, y'all. If nothing else, it's a day off work. Because I don't care what you decide to call yourself. Everybody enjoys a day off work. I know I do. Right now I'm in my break period, so I'm really enjoying this. Please believe it. Trust and believe I am enjoying this and um yeah, just slowly looking forward to January 6th. Slowly. But beyond that, enjoy your holidays enjoy the time with your people. You know what I'm saying? Because the time is what we can't get back. The money, we'll get that back eventually. But the time we cannot get that back. So enjoy that time, man, because time is such a irreplaceable resource. It is infinite in the sense of time, but our time is finite, very finite. And in the scope of time, we're only here for fractions, just fractions of that time. So enjoy it. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Yo, big shouts out to Spud. Got my nephew in the building. What up, boy? That boy still remember my old drops. That was my drop on my mixtape back in the day. That was eons ago. My God, dog. Phyllis in the building. What's going on, Big Phil? Well, actually, Little Phil. But just going into my year end review, I just want to just chop it up over some things that went through this year, and what I'm saying, kind of going into next year, particularly what's going on right here with Team OTB. We got a lot going on. And a lot of potential for next year. It's a big thing on me. Like I said, I made a promise to my brother Laris Hodges, who's no longer with us, that I was gonna be more conscious of giving an hour of my time to this thing that we love. You know what I'm saying? And I have to really be more conscientious of that, particularly because he's not here with me to do that. So just keeping a promise to a brother. You know what I'm saying? And that is my goal to give y'all more content, more quality content. My ultimate goal is to do a live show with y'all. Like I'm talking whole studio audience, Oprah, Ricky Lake type thing, not Jerry Springer because there will be no fighting going on. Not on the Dope Show. Y'all find another show for that. My boy Saga Boss in the building. What up, Skip? My boy got man. This is OG radio family right here, man. We hung a lot of these trophies together. This one in particular. I can see that. ATL's hottest radio show. Yeah. Skip, remember when we did that? Multiple times? Yes, indeed, man. Big shouts out to my boy Saga Boss in the building, man. That's what we do, man. We should just, kick shit, win awards. Nothing too extra. That's just what we did. It was kind of a norm. It's like, okay, so what are we gonna do with all these trophies? I wonder. But big shouts. I appreciate you stopping through, brother. Um, one of the things I did want to touch on this year was this is an election year, people, and I talked to y'all. We didn't had a couple of conversations about this here, right here on this platform, about not losing our minds and our sense of self when it comes to this, and yet we did it again. I want y'all to really pay attention to how divisive this time period is among us. And I say us, I'm talking about black people. I'm pretty sure, hopefully, hopefully my audience has broadened in scope that I have some white people in here. And you know what, truthfully, y'all come on in and have a seat. But I'm talking to my folks on this one. Y'all just take a seat in the back and just listen, pay attention. So in previous years, so let's look back at the 2020 election. Uh I got my people in the building. I have no idea who that is, but what's up with you? Good to see you. I have, but hey, it's somebody that's here on the dope show kicking it. So, what's up with you, man? Hey, glad that you're here. So, um, in the 2020 election, Obama came and he did no, not 2020. Let's go back. The 2016 election. Let's start there. 2016, Obama came in. He done his 8 years, and he was about to gracefully bow out. And we had Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. Now the divide in that election was really men and women, and there were a lot of men who swayed in the other direction to vote for Donald Trump because they didn't want or trust Hillary Clinton to run the country. Not saying there's anything wrong with that mentality. It's just what it was. So we do those 4 years, and in the midst of those 4 years, we have a global health scare and pandemic, which, depending on how you look at it, there was some reservations with that. Even that became a divisive issue versus people who took it serious and thought that we're all gonna die tomorrow from this outbreak, to the people who said, I ain't fucking with that shit. There was divides on people who were going to take the shot versus people who didn't. And I watched this. I visually watched this in that period, in that 2020 period. 2020 was a oh shit. 2020 was a year unto itself. Truthfully, in the history books, 2020 can be its own history book because so much happened that year. So much happened with the social uprising after the death of George Floyd, to the global pandemic with COVID-19. It was a lot that happened, but one of the my biggest issue with that year was the divide that we had amongst ourselves, because you had some people who believed it wholeheartedly and said, like, we're gonna die. Then there were some people who, like I said, they just, you know, it just didn't ring bells to them. And I understand both sides of that coin. But in any event, we all we got. And if we let these things divide us, people, what do we have left when we come back amongst ourselves? After the whole COVID-19 happened and it came, it saw, it did what it did, and it went. What is the status, or what is the shape of those relationships that got tarnished in the meantime? And also 2020 was yet another election year. That was Donald Trump running for his second term against Joe Biden, and we saw that Joe Biden did end up winning that, and we just coming at the end of those 4 years, and those 4 years were interesting to say the least. Um, I can't say I was a fan of either, because we talk about the Joe Biden of now, but I remember the Joe Biden of the crime bill of, I want to say that was 93 during the Clinton administration. The three strikes you're out, and no matter what the strikes were, as long as you needed three of them, you were finna go do life. No matter the circumstance of that third strike, the fact that you got it, you were finna go sit down for the rest of your life. And took a lot of people off the streets. Maybe there was some that were deserving, because I mean, and in certain situations, crime is just an option. You do not have to be a criminal, believe it or not. However, um, what are the circumstances that led up to this person making that life decision? So there's that. Um, with that being said, Joe Biden comes in this term, and it's real shaky. It was a very shaky 4 years until reelection time, and then we look, and his VP steps up. His VP steps up and says she's going to take the reins. Joe steps down, and now we have a different climate or landscape for what this election is turning into. So now it's not Joe Biden versus Donald Trump again. It is Joe Biden. I mean, it is Kamala Harris versus Donald Trump, which now creates yet another divide because we have a woman who, according to, identifies as a person of color. And then we have Donald Trump, who we know who he is. He is still the same Donald J. Trump. Not gonna get anything else out of that. Don't ask. Don't look for it. And Vice President Harris does everything she can do to appease to the black vote, without offering a thing. See, the interesting thing about Trump. We knew where he was. We knew where he stood. She allegedly had this 90-page plan on all these changes she was going to make, and yeah, none of it was for us people. None of that was for us. It was a lot of smoke and mirrors, and just a lot of there was a lot of I'll do this for you if you vote for me. But my biggest gripe with that, and this is not just with her, this is just with any politician, is that why do I have to give you my vote and then wait on you to make good on your promise? I have a problem with that because more often than not, they never make good on said promises. In that 4 years or sometimes 8 year period, the stuff that they promise on their platform to get elected, we never see any of that. Never. So why do I have to give first? But nonetheless, um, Donald Trump does end up winning again. And I've heard a lot of opinions, particularly from black people, because it got real divisive again. It became not only us against ourselves in the sense of man versus woman, black versus white, but also with the LGBT versus straight. And it got real messy. It got real messy. I've witnessed a lot of arguments, a lot of unnecessary arguments because we argue amongst ourselves. But do they even know that these conversations happen, or do they even care? They don't. So when that's happening, we're in essence causing the divide amongst ourselves unnecessarily, totally unnecessarily. And it's bad, because after the election, after this all said and done, and Trump's going to get inaugurated next month, all we have still is us. All we have is each other. Now we just spent the last year going at each other over two candidates who probably neither one are going to look out for our best interests. So we have to continue doing what we always did, which is look out for ourselves and look out for each other. That is it. That is it. That should be our main mission, our main focus, our main goal. Take care of yourself, take care of your family, and look out for your peoples. You know, those who are in need or are deserving of it. I mean, look out for your folks because we all we got still. Still we are all we got. And we are all we're gonna ever have. Nobody's gonna save us. We have to save ourselves. And that's the best way to do it. Look out for yourself, look out for your people, take care of your families, man. That's it on that. Um Onto a different topic, a little more lighthearted topic. College football is coming to a wrap. And one of the things I'm hearing all my college football now, this is one of the things we can come together on in a sense. Now we can't come together on whose team is what team, go Trojans, who loves what team and all that. But one thing we can agree on is that this 12-team playoff format is the best thing that has ever happened to college football. I have no complaints. I love it. I wish this would have happened sooner. Ironically enough, you wouldn't believe who had this idea years ago, years and years and years ago. And this young lady does not get the credit she deserves for her knowledge of, or not only college football, of organization, and that is Condoleezza Rice. Condoleezza Rice made the first statement or mention of doing a playoff rather than we just pick these certain teams based on wins, losses, and difficulty of schedule, and we place them in certain bowl games. She said, "No, make them play for it. Take the top four teams and make them play for it." So they tried it that first time with the four, and it was good. But with college football being so big and having so many teams, and now mind you, what ended up happening, the Pac-10 dissolved. So a lot of those West Coast teams bled into the other four conferences, the other four major conferences or whatever. It was going to be hard to just pick four. So some genius decided, hey, let's pick 12. Let's pick 12, top four get bye weeks, and then the eight go at it to narrow it down. I love it. I absolutely love it. I would even take it a step further, people. I would take it a step further. Now, you know how in basketball, you take the top 64 teams and you had an NCAA tournament, and then you have another set of schools that they play in the NIT, which is just like the top 16, it was top 64, except these are your teams that just weren't quite good enough to make that first one. We take, if they take top 12, we take 13 through 24, and we do a NIT style tournament for those teams that didn't make it to the big one. I'm here for it. I like it. Will it happen? Possibly one day. But I think this was a big step in the right direction. Um, I'm kind of anxious to see how this plays out. I think the games are actually starting tomorrow. If not tomorrow, then definitely New Year's Day. The games are going to start coming on, and so I mean the first round of the playoffs happened last weekend, and there was some good football out here, y'all. Some good football. Kind of anxious to see what Ohio State's going to do. Kind of ready to see what Georgia's going to do. Interesting enough, top 12 teams and Bama didn't make it. That's crazy. That's crazy. Bama's not there. Bama's at the crib. I'm sure Bama had one of those lower bowl games or whatever, which is fine. You know what I mean? You still play for a ring. Um, so that should be appreciated unto itself. However, um, Bama's not in the big one this year, y'all. It's crazy. Right. When's the last time that happened? But you gotta play for it. You gotta play for it. And this right here keeps the keeps the motivation going of playing for it rather than you just being selected. Um, I like where this is going. Speaking of sports, let's turn to another sport right quick. Let's go to basketball, particularly NBA basketball. NBA basketball, from what I've been reading, is taking a decline in viewership. It said in the last couple of weeks it's gone down 56%. That is a lot. That is an astronomical number for a drop. 56%, 56.7 to be exact percent drop in viewership. And a lot of your analysts and your smart people that get paid at those big networks that I'm not quite in line with yet, they're saying that is because the upsurge of the 3-point shot. And I have to agree. I was just having this conversation yesterday with my cousin. Big shouts out to my boy D. That when we were growing up, we was watching basketball the 80s and the 90s. The 3-point shot was specific, really, to your point guards and white guys. Just follow my lead on this one now. You look at your Larry Birds, John Stockton, Jeff Hornacek, even coming up in later times with Kyle Korver, back in the day, Mark Price, Steve Kerr. The white boys were the 3-point shooters. The brothers, black guys, oh, we played above the rim. We dunking. You know what I'm saying? We dunking and we controlling the mid range. But the white boys were the shooters. Now, you did have some outliers back in that day. You had your Ray Allens, you had your Reggie Millers, who, they could light that thing up from the three. And hey, more power to them. Those dudes were legendary. But really, with the turn of the style of ball play going to more of a European style, trying to adopt it that European style to where nobody played back to rim, everybody played face up. And, with bringing in Dirk Nowitzki, who's a 7 footer, who normally 7 footer, we throw them down in the paint. But in Europe, a Dirk Nowitzki, a Paul Gasol could easily run the floor as well as um they could run the floor as well as play the paint. But more so they would play face up rather than playing back to the rim. Here we go. I knew he was coming, y'all. Big shouts out to the problem child, aka Big Country 50, said them white boys in Golden State messed up. And but and that is the common consensus, believe it or not, that it is with bringing in a player like Steph Curry. And Steph Curry's style was always outside in. Um, he shot a lot of threes. He hit a lot of threes. He is still sitting at the top of the mountain as we speak when it comes to 3 pointers. And so much of the league followed suit to where it started looking more and more like a 3 point shootout than a basketball game. To where we start seeing centers defer from playing the paint and would rather shoot face up, shooting threes. Like there's no reason why Carl Anthony Towns is shooting threes on a regular. Is he hitting them consistently? And then make it so bad. What was that? It was, I want to say it was a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. And somebody fact check me if I'm wrong. Carl Anthony Towns won a 3 point shootout during All Star weekend. It's crazy to me. But this is the what the NBA has become now. To just give y'all just a little more on what's going on with the NBA. The fact that there was a game, I want to say last week or maybe 2 weeks ago. I know the Bulls were playing, and that the Bulls were playing. I can tell you he did. Okay, there we go. Karl Anthony Towns, a center, won the 3 point shootout. Beyond me. There was a game, and I know the Bulls were playing. I can't tell you who the Bulls were playing right off, but they there were a record number of missed threes combined in this game. Combined 70 missed threes between both teams. 70. That is insane. That is insane. That is unacceptable, people. That is it makes for boring basketball. They said that there was a 9 possession series where all they would do is get the rebound, run down court, shoot a three, miss it, get the rebound, run down to the other side of the court, shoot a three, miss it. They did this, people, 9 consecutive times back and forth before there was a shot made. Unacceptable. I don't know whether it goes to the coach's style. I just don't know if the players are just going off the rails and said, I'm going to shoot this three because I'm going to hit it. And I think what the problem is that they don't understand the scope of I would rather be a 50% 2 point shooter than being a 30% 3 point shooter. And then with the three gets more points. Let's go into as far as point scoring goes. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who was the leading who was leading in points, total career points before LeBron James broke the record a couple of years back, well, a year or two ago, or whatever. Before LeBron James broke that record, Kareem led in points with like something like 38,000 points career total. You know how many threes he hit to get that 38,000? One. Kareem only hit 1 3. Now, bulk of his career, when he played, there was no 3 point line. The 3 point line, if my math is correct, and y'all fact check me on this if I'm wrong, the 3 point line didn't come either until 80 or 82. And it was somewhere in that early 80s period. They brought in the 3 point line because where it came from, the ABA had a 3 point line. But when that league was dissolved, they took a lot of the players and they also took a lot of the rules and the rules and the traditions of that league and brought them into the NBA, and one of them being the 3 point line. Um, so Kareem only hit 1 3 in his whole career, but scored 38,000 points. that is to not be looked over as an accomplishment unto itself. Um, let's see, that was a true make or break year. What year are we referring to, Phyllis? Um, so just shooting up a bunch of threes and missing them doesn't make it like it makes the game boring. And it also makes me think that, they have to do something about that. Another thing that's happening too is the lapse of defense. There was no way I saw a game last week that the final score was 132 to 113. Those are all-star game numbers. Those are all-star game numbers. Why is a regular season game in the month of December with a combined score of almost 250 points? Nobody's Nobody finds this strange at all, huh? The people upstairs at the NBA are trying to figure out what to do, but I feel like y'all messed this up early, and this is why I say this. Y'all gave these boys guaranteed contracts. So if I already know my money's made, only thing I gotta do is sign for it. I don't really have to work that hard. My money's guaranteed. Whether I got hurt or whether I suck for this whole contract, my money's made already. It give What does it give them to play for? So now that they're complaining about the lack of viewership in the All Star game, they're trying to change up the format, trying to figure out what do we do to make the All Star game great again. Well, it's hard to motivate these players when they're rich. Like they don't have the competitive spirit for the game. It's not there. It's a competitive spirit for payday. They're trying to be the first in line at the check cashing place. They're not trying to be the best basketball player. They're trying to be the richest basketball player, and that has tarnished the game. Remember, it is not money itself is not the root of all evil. It is the desire for money that makes it the root of all evil. What people, the lengths they are willing to go for this money and what it makes them, what they become after the money is really what we see in a true person's character. So they've opted to go for a four-team round robin tournament for the All-Star game rather than just picking because they tried the whole it used to be East versus West. And then they tried the whole well, we'll do team captains and everybody pick a team. And last year's All-Star game was just a bunch of guys hanging out on court, and I get it with it being mid-season. Some of them don't want to go as hard because they don't want to get hurt in the All-Star game because really after the All-Star game, that's when it's time to start pushing for the playoffs. I totally understand that. But the game's falling off to the point to where dudes are just walking around on court. You might have dudes just running down court for a wide open dunk versus dudes that I'll just walk down court and just shoot a three, whether I hit it or whether I don't, whatever. And it's not entertaining, it's not competitive anymore. Um, they try to offer in incentives like cash prize to the winning team or whatever. But the problem is everybody gets paid for the All-Star game. You get paid just for being selected, believe it or not. But the winning, I think it was something like 25,000 just to get picked, but 75,000 if you win. Now I think they should go ahead and add in this little bit of level of motivation. Loser gets nothing. Winner takes the whole prize. Loser, you get to go home and try again next year, next February. Something's got to be done because it's like it's just not. It has not been there. And then also, um, I got my boy Jay Scott in the building. What up, Scoop? Y'all go check. Make sure y'all check him out for all your cake needs or whatnot. Cakes, pies, mini bunts, and all of the above. Like yo, boy, Scoop Jones in the building. He got you. Just look him up. The real J Scott 43 or Corey's Heavenly Cakes. Make sure you drop that in the chat. Let these people know how to find you, sir. If they trying to get their diabetes on. Uh, what country got for me? They are entertainers. They need to do their job all year round. You can't slack on your job and still make millions, but they do. With that CBA, with that CBA that they have in place, collective bargaining agreement from people who do not know, it's just how they do their negotiations. With the CBA that they have in place, they are so paid that they don't have to do their job because their money's guaranteed. Really, all they can do is show up. That's why you have so many that say, "Oh, I'm a load manager. I don't feel like playing. I don't feel like playing tonight. I'm tired. I played 2 road games last week. I'm gonna manage my load, and I'm just gonna sit this game out. Not even hurt. They just don't feel like playing tonight, so they're not. And I agree with you. You shouldn't still make millions. Truthfully, I think if you don't have a legit injury signed off by a doctor, you have no reason to sit out. You should have no reason. And if you do decide that you're going to sit out anyway, they should dock you. That game check should be given to a children's charity, a cancer foundation or something. Go donate his check because he don't need it clearly because he's tired. He doesn't want to play. So no, take his check. And I bet you the load management will stop. I bet you the game will probably get more competitive. Also, something I thought about too, with the 3 point shot just getting so out of control, like how it is, limit how many you could take per game. This is what I mean. Each team, the same way you're allotted 5 fouls per person, each team is allowed at, let's say, 23s. After your 20th three, when you shoot that 21st, hit or miss, it counts as a tick. Other team get a shot in the ball. And what that'll do, that will put a that will put more thought into all these reckless threes that are getting thrown up. That will make you sit there and think, wait a minute, should I take this shot? Is it gonna hit? Am I gonna make it? I'm gonna be more conscious. It's gonna make you more strategic in choosing your 3 pointers wisely than rather just jacking up threes just because you think you can hit it, maybe. It has made the game so boring. It has made the game very lame. And it's becoming a horrible product. It's becoming a horrible product. And it's gonna progressively get worse if they don't do something to not only bring the competitiveness back, but to also limit the just lackadaisicalness of just, I'm just gonna shoot this three and that's it. Mm-mm. On to another sport, one of my favorite sports, my favorite sport, the NFL. It is getting down to playoff time, people. Unfortunately, I found out last weekend. I think it was last Saturday or last Sunday. The Cowboys. Matter of fact, it was last Sunday. The Cowboys did not make it because the Washington Commanders. Gotta say Commanders. They beat the Eagles, and that went on ahead and just knocked us out. Mathematically, the Cowboys could not make it, even if they won out everything. Played a good game last week against Carolina. Not Carolina, against Tampa. They played a really good game, and I just accepted it as the last game of the season. They had the Eagles yesterday with no motivation to win. They didn't. They went out there and got their butts kicked yesterday. I didn't even. It's one of those type things. Had an Eagle fan came up to me and approached me and talked trash yesterday, I wouldn't have even cared. The Cowboys are a shell of themselves at this point in the season. Best thing we could do is try to find some level of regrouping, figure out what needs to be figured out. We have a quarterback that we just gave a butt ton of money to, and a wide receiver who's making also a butt ton of money. And we need to figure out how to get those two on the same page. Also, we need to bring that spark back to our defense that we had under Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn had our defense sparked and ready. Also, also, we need to get out of our own ways, and this goes to our owner slash general manager, and that when there's a player who expresses that he wants to come to the Cowboys, we take a listen. Because I'm looking at Derrick Henry right now. Derrick Henry is putting up numbers, people. Putting up numbers. And truthfully, before yesterday, Derrick Henry was my vote for MVP. Now, I know a lot of people are saying, well, Lamar Jackson, I get it, I get it, I get it. Lamar has had a very, very exceptional season. And not to take anything away from him, but Derrick Henry was written off last year after he left Tennessee. Tennessee wrote him off and just like, well, he's done all he can do. And Derrick Henry said, hold my drink. Watch this. And he did express interest in coming to the Cowboys, but at no point did Jerry even look and pull the trigger and make it so bad. He was going to come to the Cowboys for cheap. He was going to come for cheap. And we could have did something with that. I mean, this man is out here running over people. Plus, I'm sorry. I got to say this. And I need y'all to zoom in. Come a little closer for this one. I want y'all to hear me. This goes for everybody in here. If a running back who played for the University of Alabama or just about any SEC school is within your reach, you grab him. Do y'all hear me? Y'all hear me? If a running back plays for Alabama or any other SEC school, you take notice. You do not let him leave. And if he does leave, you make sure that you're the team on the receiving end when he's out looking for a job. You don't let him get away from you. A Alabama running back, one SEC running back, it's not over until it's over. Until he's laying there and his leg is laying next to him, figuratively, not literally. We don't want him to get dismembered. But I'm saying it's over. It's not over until it's over with an SEC running back. So Tennessee, y'all dropped the ball in that one. Not uncommon for Tennessee, but Dallas, y'all dropped the ball and not picking them up. So yeah, y'all deserve to get ran over this year. It was just very much poor management decisions, starting from the very top all the way down to the field. It was bad, and what's going to end up happening. This is the first year we've seen the outwardness of the dissatisfaction of Michael Parsons, who is holding our defense on his shoulders by himself. Not necessarily by himself, but he is carrying it. But we've seen outward signs of dissatisfaction. We're gonna mess around and lose Michael Parsons, and then we're gonna be in a world of trouble. At this point, the defense is just gonna be 11 guys out there running, looking for whoever got the ball. We lose him, our defense goes with it. It was bad enough to lose our defensive coordinator Dan Quinn, but I understand every coordinator. And somebody had to tell me this: that every coordinator's ideal next is to be a head coach. Every coordinator wants to be a head coach, and I get it. And Dan Quinn had been a head coach before. I remember when he coached for the Falcons or whatever. Um, and so I understand him taking the move up, but God, dog, it hurt. It hurt. It hurt. So we took a loss on that. We took a loss on losing Dan Quinn, and we got Ezekiel Elliott back. What was left of him. We got some young talent that just has to be developed. But in the meantime, it's like when there's a Derrick Henry that comes across your desk, you do not sit on your hands about that. When there's a Stephon Diggs that comes across your desk as a receiver, you do not sit on your hands about that. When we had Stephon Gilmore at corner and we let him walk, you do not let that happen. The Cowboys are a historically great franchise. They are that team that even though yeah they make the jokes or whatever that they haven't won a Super Bowl in going on 30 years, people still want to play for the Cowboys. They still want that silver helmet with that blue star on it. They just do. So many players grew up watching the Cowboys. To where I want to be a part of that team. But we had to get out of our own way as far as management goes and just let this thing happen. Let this thing happen, Jerry. Got to. You're gonna lose a lot of fans, Jerry. Truthfully, after we lost to the Falcons, I had checked out for the season already. Dak left after that. We had to go get surgery or whatnot. I was done for the season at that point. Right now, I'm just strictly watching football for the sake of it being football. I was done for the year. Um, but it's playoff time. I think, and like I said before this past weekend, my vote for MVP was Derrick Henry. After this weekend, I feel like it should clearly go to Saquon Barkley. That dude right now is 100. I think it's 105 yards away from breaking the total season record, the total rushing record for the season set by Eric Dickerson. I don't remember what year, but I know he was like at 2100, 2105 or 2104, something like that. And Saquon's like right there behind him. Saquon has the Giants next week. Now, to think that Saquon Barkley cannot run up 100 yards on the Giants, y'all do know that record's broken as of next week. And I feel like with him breaking that record, that should solidify him as MVP. I get it. Lamar Jackson has had an amazing season. Josh Allen is having a break. He's having a good year too. Um, who else? Josh Daniels is looking decent out here. Also, Derrick Henry's looking good. But the difference between Derrick Henry and Saquon is Derrick Henry needs about 400 and Saquon needs one. Um, what is country? It said if we lost to Kirk Cousins Falcons, I would have checked that also. Yes, indeed. I mean, look, it's one of those things, man. And then I was at the dome. I went my first time in the bins, y'all. First time in the bins, and I had to watch that, and it was painful to watch. They played like garbage, played like crap that game. Like they did nothing. So it's only so much you can do. It's only so much you can do as a fan, but just watch. And I didn't go as far as burning all my gear or nothing when I paid a lot of money for a lot of that stuff. And then too, it's like, nah, I'm still a fan. I'm just frustrated right now. I'm a frustrated fan because but the thing is at the same time with all the all season moves that we made and didn't make, I came into the season with low expectations. Believe it or not. I just did not see it. I said we'll do what we do. But I'm not looking for a Super Bowl year this year. Um Last little piece I want to step into is going going back into college football, but this is a step away from the field. Young man Travis Hunter, first of all, congratulations to that gentleman for winning the Heisman. You are now part of a very, very elite class of football players who can sit there and say they held that trophy and did that pose. So congratulations to you. Salute, young man, playing both sides of the ball at such a high level, playing damn near every snap of the game is something that we don't hear about very often. That boy has a inner drive and an inner dog in him that is just unparalleled. Like I haven't seen anything like a Travis Hunter since Bo Jackson, maybe Adrian Peterson. Like it's just a level of dog that I have not seen in probably any professional sport in a very long time. Um, hmm. The sad part is though, his off field is starting to outweigh his on field. And y'all already know what I'm talking about, but for my people who don't, I go ahead and tell you. So he has this girlfriend. This girlfriend already admitted that he was not her type when they first met, and that she wasn't interested in him until she found out who he was. Well, son, that's a red flag right there. That should be your red flag. So until you found out that I was probably a top prospect coming out of high school, going into college, or until you found out that I am a finalist for the Heisman, a potential finalist for the Heisman, a potential at least top 10, and now we got to bump that up to top 5 draft pick because I don't see him going out of 5. I don't see him going lower than 5. Unless there's some trading going around, I don't see him going lower than 5. With that being said, now that you know who I am, now I'm attractive. Now I'm someone you want to be with. He wasn't my type at first. Wonder what changed her mind. I don't know, the potential dollar signs. Because we know this boy's finna get paid. We know this boy's finna get paid. Fin to get paid. I said it just like that on purpose for a reason. Top, like I said, he's at least top 5. If he goes lower than 5, I got questions. I got to figure out how that happened. Now, this draft is also going to be very quarterback heavy. It's going to be very quarterback heavy. So that could probably be a reason right there as well. But nah, 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 nah. Heisman Trophy winner, playing both sides of the ball at a high level, receiver and corner, he's going top 5. That's going without question. And she knows that. And she knows that money's finna come in. And that endorsement money is finna come in even louder. It's time to get paid, y'all. He played his last college game, played the bowl game the other day. I think it was the Alamo Bowl, and Colorado got the brakes beat off of him. But nonetheless, he's stamped. He's ready to go. He's probably gonna show up to the combine. He's probably gonna break a few clocks at the combine, and then after that, who's gonna get him? Who's gonna get him? Is the question, and we'll see how that plays out. I got my good friend and very good friend and supporter of the Dope Show right here. Miss JC Rocker is in the building. What's going on with you? She said, "Don't save him. He don't want to be saved." Now, I'm gonna ask this question, JC. Did you say that in your J. Cole voice or in your Project Pat voice? I need to know the answer. Is that in your J? Did you hear J. Cole or did you hear Project Pat when you said that? I got to know. So, but no, she's right though, because in a few public moments, she has gone above and beyond to embarrass this young man. And I say this young man because he's only what, maybe 21, 2021, and I don't think he knows how to deal with this, but he wins the Heisman. This is the biggest accomplishment of college football. Project Pat voice. There we go. Th- There we go. Project Pat, baby. Mr. Don't Play classic album. Um, this is the biggest accomplishment that you can have in college football. And when he gets his award, she doesn't even stand up and applaud him. She's just sitting there. She's sitting there as if I'm bored. I want to go home. I don't want to be here. So, with this being a public moment, and we are living in the age of social media. Yes, social media roasted her ass. Social media went off. And guess what? People like, oh, well, they need to stay out of rich people business. Da, 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 da. Man, fuck all that. Look, once it's public, it is wide open for public consumption. And guess what? Social media is there for the public consumption. So yeah, they tore her ass up as well as they should have, as well as them telling him it's a red flag. Run, boy, run. But he doesn't do that. What does he do? He goes live. He doubles down. And he talks about how she was so upset that she had to drink herself to sleep the night before because of what the people were saying. Well, nigga, what did you say to her? You didn't say anything about that? You didn't find that being a problem? The fact that she gets jealous that he takes pictures with fans and he wouldn't take a picture with the female fan unless she was there. Now I get what he's attempting to say and what he's alluding to. And you don't want to be disrespectful to your girl, but taking a picture with a fan, mind you, these fans are the ones that buy the tickets. They're gonna buy your jerseys. You get your shoe deal, they're gonna buy your shoes. And even with female fans, let's just say they're not fans of the game per se. Guess what? Their sons are. So their son is gonna want your jersey. Their son is gonna want your shoes. But if you turn down any of them fans on someone else's insecurity, it's gonna be a fuck Travis Hunter. I don't care how good he is, because I come to you as a fan, and because of the insecurity, you tell me no for an autograph. You tell me no for a picture, and mind you, every female fan's not gonna approach you on some disrespect. Some of them might just want that autograph for their sons, for their brothers. You know what I'm saying? They might have a little brother coming up in high school that idolizes you because of what you've been able to do on the field, and you're gonna tell her no because she's a female, even if she's coming to you respectfully, even if she's not trying to be a groupie, even though she's not trying to do something like, oh well, I'm gonna get one over on Travis Hunter and throw myself at him. No, some females are just either a fans of the game or their wife, spouse, sister, mother, or what have you to someone who is a fan of the game. You got to treat all your fans like they're the reason you're there, because guess what? They are partially. Yes, your talent is amazing. Your talent did get you so far, but if these people aren't buying tickets, these people aren't buying jerseys, they're not buying t-shirts, they're not buying shoes, you're not getting paid. That's where your that's partly where your money comes from, is your fan base. You gotta be loyal to these people. And I'm not saying you have to go out of your way and bend your back backwards. That's so not what I'm saying. But for a very petty, insecure reason like that, that's unacceptable, son. And right now, my biggest question is to Coach Prime is that, one thing I will say about Coach Prime, I'm not really a fan of him as an X's and O's guy. However, I know that he is a motivational speaker and he is a guy, he can guide and mold young men. That I give him credit for. Why is Dion not in his ear every step of the way, telling him of the pitfalls that will happen to you if you continue with this girlfriend at the next level? Now, Travis Hunter's already stuck his foot in it because, from what I'm hearing, she's pregnant. So you already stuck your foot in it. So you're already a guaranteed check for her. But she's already shown you who she is with the insecurities, with the lack of interest in what you do. She's only interested in what you do because it's going to pay dividends. She knows this. If everybody else sees this, why is this not coming clear to you, son? I'm not sure if your mom's even said something. Your mom, your dad, older brother, your uncle. God, your uncles always keep it real. One thing about having an uncle, that is the most keeping it real person in your family. Tell me I'm lying, people. Unc is gonna keep it real. It might not come in the package you wanted to. It might not come in the sound and the soft sonic melody that you wanted to. But Unc is gonna keep it real with you. Dion, in this particular situation, you're the closest he got to Unc. You gotta be in there, Unc. Don't put that on Coach Prime. Let that boy learn. But at what point does the lesson become so big that he won't be able to come back from it? This could be career breaking. Believe it or not. She's pregnant now. So when he signs that big deal, and maybe not his first contract. Remember, rookie contracts, rookie contracts in the NFL, they don't hit that big. But this is Travis Hunter. This is a boy that can play both sides of the ball. Natural athlete, because truthfully, he said that basketball is his first love, and there's footage out here of him playing basketball. The boy can jump out the building. We know, God forbid, any injury. 'Cause that's something that's so not something I want to see. I want to see this boy play a long career, snatch a couple of rings, couple of MVPs, and retire in his 30s and live out the rest of his days as an analyst with a pile of money in front of him. That's how I want to see his future. However, God forbid any injuries. When he signs his big deal after those first 3 years, those first 4 years, he is about to get paid. He's about to get paid. And that's when she's gonna all of a sudden have these irreconcilable differences and is gonna want to split. And when she splits, she means split that check. Then what? When she finally screws him over, and then he's crying on the internet like, "What did nobody tell him about this girl?" We all telling you, son. We all telling you. And I definitely understand where you're coming from with that, JC. I definitely understand because you know what, hard head do make a soft behind, as the old people say. But we, as particularly as parents, and Dion's very much a parent. Hell, two of his sons are right there. And very much as parents, we want to cushion that blow because the world hits. We know that the world's going to hit, and we know that the world's going to hit hard. We as parents always want to cushion that blow. Sometimes, yeah, your kid's still going to get hit because they're still going to lead out there with their chin, figuratively speaking, to get hit. But then what? Like, is this something he's going to be able to recover from? We could tell right now that his head and mind are wrapped around this girl to the point to where she's running the show. Sad to say, she's running the show off the field. Who's to say coach and others haven't been trying to get in his ear? His nose is too wide open to listen. I mean, then there's that. Um, and at that point, god damn, what do you do? Like seriously, what do you do at that point? Um, You don't you want to soften that blow. You don't want him to get hit in the head, but you see the train wreck happening. Everybody sees this train wreck happening, and it is what now 24, about to go into 25. So he's gonna get drafted in 25. Revisit this conversation about 2030 to see how this shit plays out. Because it's if she really wants to get paid, she's gonna play the long game. Said bump that cushion. Just let him hit his head, huh? Get that concussion. All right, the teacher. I dig it. I dig it. All I got to say for that is, I wish much success for this young man, but you have somebody that you have in your corner right now that only cares about your success conditionally. And those conditions are conditional to her. Let's see. Supposedly, mom is back in the picture because girlfriend wasn't at the bowl game, so the internet says. I mean, who knows? Who knows? Like I said, the girlfriend doesn't have an interest in what he do. She has an interest in the results. She has an interest in the results. I don't even know if she wants the star status that's gonna come with it. I think she just wants the money. Bring home that check, put it on the table. That's it. So I don't know what's gonna happen. Like I said, she's with child now, so it's standing to get a lot more messier than better anytime soon. Anyway, but yo, that is my year in review, people. 2024, 2025 is looking promising. Um, does anybody remember the game show that was right here on the Dope Show, Take My Black Card? Well, Take My Black Card is coming back, people. I right now am looking for two contestants, male and female. There is a cash prize, but don't worry, it's not Travis Hunter money. Like you're not getting $20,000, you're not getting a new car. But yes, I for the last winners, I did bless their cash app for coming on and competing in Take My Black Card. And it was a lot of fun. We're bringing that back for the new year. Also, the OTB merchandise, it is starting to look more and more like a thing. Where I've recently been in touch with a new vendor, and so yeah, we're about to start getting that cracking, y'all. We're gonna start off with the official OTB brand shirt. Like this is the go-to OTB shirt, man. And it's this is the logo, this is the brand. If you see it, hey, own the building. This is what that is. So gonna start off with this one, and then there's gonna be some more stuff, and maybe the sweatsuits, the hoodies, like all that stuff. It's gonna be coming soon, and it's gonna be, definitely coming to you in 25. So be on the lookout for that. Also, the company, I've had friends of the show. I don't want to say former friends because someone's a friend, a true friend. They're not former. Even if I don't hear from you for X amount of months, we still tight. You're just out doing your thing or whatever. If we fall out, well, then that's it. But this particular individual, I will leave nameless at the moment because they will be back. Um, they reached out to me about coming back on the platform. And I tell you, if you've ever been on the show with me, you see that side of the screen, you ever shared that side of the screen with me, you always have a seat with me. Always got a seat right here on the dope show with Team OTB. So we got people coming back. We got some people that never left. They'll be here. ISS crew will definitely be back in full effect. We were supposed to actually be here tonight with the with our Marvel versus Capcom 4 wish list, but due to some things going on, whatever, and we gotta be mindful of people's schedules and whatnot. We had to push that show back yet again, but it will still be coming. Also, just like I said, this year and this world, and particularly this internet, we will never be out of topics. We'll never be out of topics, people. So there um will definitely be a lot going on. Definitely got collabs coming up for the new year. I got my boy Jay Scott right here. Scoot said definitely got collabs coming up for the new year. Big Phil, I appreciate that. Hey, look, at this point, only thing I do, the plans are in place. Now my job is to execute. Squirreling us. Ridiculous. Anyway, y'all. So thank y'all for completing another dope year with me. Um, and let's do it again. Let's make 25 better than 24 was. And we're gonna do it again after that, and then after that, and then it's just gonna be just dopeness. And I don't think it do with my talent, your support is and consistency is just continue to get bigger from there. So I thank y'all. Let's move into 25 and make it a good one. As I end every show, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery that mediocrity can pay to greatness. I am DJ Agony. I own the building. East Point, smoke some dank, and we out. Peace.